And good evening, the League of Excellent Extraordinary Negroes. I'm Jade. That's Carla.
I'm Carla Stillwell, resident philosopher.
That's Marcus.
Everybody, I'm Marcus.
I'm Nick.
And we're going to be talking about Invincible, the entire season review. We're going to start with non spoilers first. And your question of the day is describe this show in 1 to 2 sentences in a non spoilery way to someone that's never seen it. So this is the no spoiler zone.
I can do it with a line from one of the episodes.
Okay.
Oh.
I believe this is episode 7. The character is Amber. Fly away, fly boy, or take the stairs. I don't really give a S. Additionally, my second sentence comes from episode 7 as well. The character of Debbie. Get out of my house, Nolan.
Period.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Marcus.
It's a superhero show that will make you question why other superhero shows are so boxed in. Like, this show isn't afraid to do a great number of things that you would never see happen in the MCU, and even DC, when they're putting the edge on their characters, isn't putting the edge on like this.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Just 1 to 2 sentences. That's about as far as I can go.
Okay. Nick.
Fucked up, and I never liked Superman.
We cannot stand that alien.
Soups is simple, but he's sick.
Okay. So, before we get into the rest of the non-spoiler section and the show itself, does anybody have any news?
Well, look,
Jade, I am done with you in these graphics.
the more
Okay?
you know.
You are
What?
hilarious.
What? Okay.
I just want to know. So I'm watching Cruella or Nah. So it's out. It's on Disney Plus. I have heard amazing reviews, which stuns me because she did not care. Carla did not care. I didn't. Cruella was nothing I asked God for. I did not want it, but it was given to us, and I heard we should see it. So have you all seen it?
I haven't seen it yet. I've heard mixed reviews. I've heard that it's very pretty. I've heard the soundtrack is great. And I mean, I was saying before we got on, and I'll just say again that I'm not sure that I am a large fan of the casting of Emma Stone in this role. I agree with my friend Amber Wallen of the Sci-Fi Sci podcast that Glenn Close ate in the 101 Dalmatians in the early thousands, and I think we should just left that be. But that's just. But I guess if we're going to talk about it, I will watch it because that is my duty.
I wasn't going to watch it. And then I was intrigued. I don't mind Emma Stone. And I think the first images from the movie and from the set, I was like, that might be pretty good. But it's $29.
Oh, I'm definitely not paying for it.
Oh no. Who talked about paying? Like no. It's not. I don't want to see it.
I don't want to see it that bad. No.
So if you are a Disney Plus subscriber, you have access to it, but it's an additional $29.
Yeah, no. We'll wait till the price come down or something.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later in the summer.
You can go to a theater and buy a ticket
Live.
for
I don't go to theaters.
$29. Like,
No,
it's
no,
I'm not
no,
going to
what?
no.
theaters.
For regular movie theater ticket prices at a regular movie
Yeah,
theater.
that would mean I'd have to take my mask out here amongst the infected, and I'm not
Yeah.
going. So,
Wait,
not
but
I have a
going.
Marcus,
space
where
helmet for just
are you?
this occasion.
But unless you go to a theater on Tuesdays, it's gonna be $29. Like,
Right.
what? Like, you acting like it's cheaper.
Right.
It's a little cheaper.
I'm
I will
afraid.
say.
That
I'm not
combo.
really sure I'm gonna go see that movie, but I've always been fascinated by the character, just a little bit. Just the most interesting part of any 101 Dalmatians movie is Cruella de Vil. Just period. Otherwise, I don't know. You're not going there to see the dogs. Nobody's going there to see the dogs.
Nobody cares.
No, you went for Glenn Close.
Secretly, we want her to catch the dogs. It's a post.
101 Dalmatians. We don't.
And I
Y'all know
want
that
them all
coat
on her back.
Would
I
be
want them all
fire.
on her back.
I'm just saying.
No, and it's funny because, I had this conversation last week, and I said I would, but it's $29, and they were like, never mind, because they wanted my Disney Plus login. It's like, yeah, but it's $29. I didn't buy it. It's $29.
No, we're not spending $29.
No.
I think it comes out mid August, like August 13th. It's stuck in my head.
That'll be a blessing. That'll be a blessing.
That's too
Okay.
soon.
It's not that long to wait. I waited for Mulan, which I'm glad I did. That's the thing about it.
Yeah.
Because if you spend $29, you want it to be really, really good.
And it's a risk with these live action Disneys. It really is. I wish that I could like them more because I really enjoy Disney, but I feel like they are stepping on a lot of classics in ways that I'm not enjoying. I grew up with these films, okay? I need them to be good.
Did you miss the entire era where they made direct-to-home video sequels to all of their classic movies?
And I loved all of those. So
Why?
let's not do
How
that.
old were you?
In the demographic,
That would be
Yeah.
why.
Those films, Lion King 2, Lion King
No.
1.5,
Bad.
I'm with it.
Okay, that one was funny.
Lion King 1.5 is fantastic.
so have you seen all of the live action remakes?
I haven't seen all of them.
I try not to.
Which ones have you seen and which ones are good? I've seen Mulan, and I wanted it to be a little better.
I think I've successfully not seen any of them, now that I'm thinking about it.
Listen, I feel like I've gone to sleep on several of them. I feel like I've walked out the room and fried chicken during several of them. I can't say I through and watch several of them.
Well, because just as like looking at it aesthetically, they're all trying to achieve this like Tim Burton but brighter type thing that I'm like, you're not like, unless Tim is in the room, like you're not gonna nail that style. And then it just lives in this weird in-between place that doesn't make sense. Or you have Lion King where it's not live action, like that's also animation.
Right.
And you cast Beyonce who gonna sound like this the whole movie. So what's the point?
I did not watch
I
that
fall-
movie. Mulan was beautiful, but it's not the same Mulan without the music. It's just not the same thing. I did not see Cinderella, and I actually refused to watch Beauty and the Beast. It's like it's pointless without the music. Why would you even know?
It has
I
the music.
guess I didn't realize they were doing
It does?
it without the
Beauty and the
music.
Beast has the music.
It does.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't see
Kids
it,
doing tonight.
but it does have the music.
I still don't know if I want to see it though.
Well, because why?
that's how the
Because
music
why
is.
cast Emma? Is it what's her name? Emma, who the Hermione? Like,
Yes.
here's my thing is that I also just like Disney is a property that people are going to. We talk about this all the time on the show. People are going to engage no matter what because it's Disney. Like, and even if they don't engage, they're going to get their money. And these stories are classic. People are going to show up. So it frustrates me that they're like not casting talented people in these roles. They're just like going down a list of people they would like to see on screen. Like there are a few
I
people in between that
oh
I would think are, you know, that I would think are fine for the side roles, but I'm like, stop with these boring, bland white women in the front of these movies.
and I think that's what it is for me with all of them. I, you know, we're those of us of a certain age. We, if we wanted any animated entertainment, it was a white girl sitting up in my face. And as an adult with viewing choices, I choose not to rewatch and be resold the same story for a fifth
Mm-hmm.
time with another white girl getting a check. I can't do it. I'm over
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm over it.
Right.
And don't talk to me about Mulan like that mitigates all of the pasty mayonnaise, mayosity of it all. You know, like, come on now. I'm gonna read me the same story with the
Yeah.
same white paper white girl.
And they did do some interesting things with women in Mulan. I just wish that what they had started down the road of with this other female character, because they had to cut out all the other fantasy. I mean, they couldn't have a little dragon talking to her, so they they brought in another element of magic and fantasy that I wish that they had done a little more with, because then it really became about these women and how they rebelled against men centered government. That that would have been, anyway. That was the only part that I really liked, and she was the bad character. Anyway, what was she? No, it was good. It was okay, but it was just okay.
Yeah.
Can they do Pocahontas?
No,
Oh
they should
Lord,
not.
they would. They would. I bet you
I,
they.
I think
Nobody
I
wants.
think that was a
Nobody
very
wants those
specific
problems.
moment.
Nobody wants those problems in 2021. There
It
are
is
some
not coming
things we
back.
are not going to see. If they do Princess and the Frog again, I bet you she'll princess the whole time. There are some things that they're not going to play with in Timor because it was so problematic. But we have crossed the threshold. Disney don't. They don't want those problems.
Okay.
They don't. They don't want the whole Native American community in the whole United States to clown
No, they don't. Well, mm,
because they would mess it up and they wouldn't tell the truth. And you can kind of swallow that in animation 15, 20 years ago, but now live action.
okay, so we're not watching Cruella until August.
There's the answer.
I just love that. Okay,
So
I can't stand you. I can't stand you.
but you know you love it. You know you love it. It just brings
I'm
back so much
sorry.
nostalgia. You just know it does.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so no spoilery zone. So what is Invincible? Invincible is 17-year-old Mark Grayson. It's just like every other guy his age, except that his father is Omni-Man, the most powerful superhero on the planet. As Mark develops powers of his own, he discovers his father's legacy may not be as heroic as it seems. This is an Amazon Prime property. The creator is Robert Kirkman, who was the creator of the graphic novel. I don't know how many runs of Invincible there were. I don't think it's still running.
I have no idea.
I don't think that it is. Robert Kirkman is also the creator of The Walking Dead. And when he brought this to Image, he brought Invincible the same year he brought Walking Dead. He did them both the same year. Stephen Yun plays or has he voices the character Mark Grayson, and J.K. Simmons is Omni Man, and Sandra Oh is Debbie Grayson, and then there is another there are lots of other characters, but
Incredible actors.
Mark Hamill is in there. Seth Rogen is in there. I think he's also one of the producers. And Walton,
Mahershala.
Mahershala Ali, Andrew
Mahershala. Yes.
Rannells, Gillian Jacobs.
But yeah, the list is
Walton Goggins.
Yeah.
huge.
They went
It's
and
insane.
got actors. They are not playing. They wrote a script, and it is for actors, and they acted.
They did.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Season 1 has dropped in March or April, and there is a season 2. It dropped in March. It premiered in March. It came out. Did they give us the first 3 episodes, or just was the first episode?
Did they give us any of season 2?
I
No,
didn't
not
see any of
season
season 2.
Okay.
Not season 2. Season 1, they dropped the first
season
3
1, they gave
episodes,
Yeah.
and then
first
they
2 or
did
3.
it weekly after that. So there are
Okay.
8 episodes in total. And something else I was going to say. Oh, it scored like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I mean,
Really?
The audience score is
good.
91. The fresh certified score is 98. Okay, so those are the
I
stats.
don't want to disagree, but it does seem pretty high.
Listen,
I mean,
I
it's
think,
great. It's great.
It's great, but holy cow.
but here's the thing. What they did that was brilliant is they took all of the world planning and nation building that Marvel Universe does, created this rich world, and then took all of the horrible, terrible F-boy DC characters, because even the women in DC are F-boys, and exploited the fork out of them in this Marvel Universe setting. And it blossomed into this amazingly rich, layered story about white supremacy. And there we go. It was dope.
Okay, anything else about the show in a non-spoilery way before we get into the spoilers?
It's frequently wildly violent.
It's very
in ways
violent.
you're not expecting.
So violent.
If this is
like,
the type of
oh my
content
god,
you normally engage with.
so heavily violent, like in ways that I could not even like. As I was watching, I was like, oh my god, I feel that pain. Like that is painful. The things that are happening are so painful.
I watch like this a lot.
It's violent in ways that it had to be animated, otherwise they couldn't show it on television.
Nick, what did we talk about this morning?
Yep.
Like, you could not have done this story in a live action way because that violence would have been too traumatic. It would have been too trigger inducing if a human was watching a human.
There's one moment in particular that I won't share until we get to the spoiler section, and that moment that I think, yes, like I think that we have seen some very violent actual things on television before, but the level of violence here is very extreme. Like it's very anime in style, honestly. Like just like the amount of gore and blood and just like carnage that it displays at times. Like it's very, it kind of is a meld of like both superhero worlds and this crass comedy like genre that we are in and anime. Like it's kind of like takes all the genres of superhero and animation and just like smacks it into one thing and just like hands you Invincible. I wanted the logo to come up when I said the name instead of me saying
Just
That's dope when that happens. I
Yeah.
really love
Just-
that. I
Yeah.
do too.
Tarantino levels of violence.
yeah.
I was like that. This whole series was like that one pullout from Kill Bill of Oren Ishii. Like it was that level of violence and gore and heart wrenching storytelling. Some of the storytelling, I was like, oh, Oh, this is what we doing? We getting the family shit like this? Oh,
But I think that because it's created by Robert Kirkman, and there's a certain expectation that I have after watching The Walking Dead for so many years, that he pushed the edge and boundaries with The Walking Dead, with the television show, with the amount of gore and blood, and even how Stephen Young's character isn't on the show anymore. That particular episode was wildly violent. So I think that we might be getting closer to it. I mean, they could really do it. I wouldn't really want them to do
Here's
it.
what I think the difference is, though. Like, I feel like you expect violence from zombies.
right.
I think that if you were to do live action superheroes with this level of violence, it would not fly. I don't think that it would be something that anyone would enjoy at all. Because I think, and that's part of what this series is like interrogating, is like this idea of like, I mean, we even get into the fight here of like, they're all heroes, yeah, but they kill a lot of people. Like, like many people die in battles, many people die as casualties, and that I've never seen that discussed as much as it was in this show. And so I think that like to see that is different than seeing like people die at the hands of in the war of a zombie apocalypse. That feels like a different type of content.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
And they're also having a really good conversation about what it means to glorify and deify somebody. Like what it means to hold people in this in these positions in our mind. Like who do we elevate in our society? Like it's deep. I love it. Okay. No more spoilers.
And
No
why does it
spoilers.
continue to be white people?
Oh,
Okay, so
'cause-
we're just gonna go into the spoiler zone.
oh,
You have been warned. If you have not seen this show, we are about to spoil it. Okay, Nick, you were saying the white people.
oh,
Oh, yeah. Like Carlos said, like this white supremacy all over this. If you watched our last review series and you were watching the Winter Soldier and the other guy with us, honestly,
Captain America.
yeah. But when Fake Cap shows up and he's out here, being like, I'm strong because I'm strong and I need to. That's what I need. Like I think that is. I mean, that's the Vulture Mike call. Like they're literally like, we are strong. We killed each other to prove it, and now we have to go and conquer everything else. Like, what? That is like the most like insane.
it's like what in the name of colonization is going on here, Mr. Nolan, sir, Mr. Man, sir?
It's interesting. I have the intro for every one of the episodes, but I really feel like it's episode 1 and then episode 8.
Yeah,
There's a lot of stuff that happens in between,
and
there's a lot of relationship in there.
And and also setting up future seasons like that. Like that's what was so brilliant about this show is that like you never knew when something was going to be important again.
Yeah,
and then to like that montage moment right at the end of episode 8 when he's back on the moon talking to homeboy, like I love that part. Where it's like, here are all the things that we still got to get to, and I loved all the dominoes being set up during the show. I thought it was brilliant.
Well,
so let's start.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you have questions. I'm gonna wait.
I was gonna say let's just start with episode 1 and just kind of go through episode 1. And then we can fill in, and then episode 8 is just you think you know. you think you know, and then no, you don't. Really.
You don't. You don't. It's fine.
So episode 1 is called "It's About Time." When Mark Grayson finally inherits powers from his superhero father, it's a dream come true. But there's more to being a hero than just choosing a name and a costume.
So
learning to fly is ridiculous.
It was so funny. When I'm on here with you guys, I talk a lot about structure, like the actual structure of a piece, the way you write a story. And most stories have holes. A lot of them fail. You could tell from episode one, the first 15 minutes, that the story was going to succeed because the writers gave you, they brilliantly started the story in the middle and let things unfold. Every ball they threw up in the air, they caught that mug in episode 8. Nothing was left dangling. This was structurally sound from jump. And I always love when a storyteller is not afraid to kill a character off
Or
jump.
7.
Or 7.
In the first episode.
Boom.
Not in the first episode. After the credits. Like that was the other thing to me. Is like the episode was very normal, brand new hero getting powers. Like you were like, okay, I'm buying this. I kind of get this world. I see what they're doing. There's some interesting stuff going on. Okay, this is cool. Blah blah blah. I can tell there's something going on with Omni-Man and the people, but that makes sense because he's a white man. Of course, he wants total control. Like,
right.
And then the credits start, and then there's the sequence of them all getting the calls to go to the headquarters. And they get there, and this massive fight massacre scene happens. That's just like, that takes the entire episode and concept of superhero and like flips it on its head, like instantly.
And that is the initiating event. That's
Yes.
what's brilliant about it. That is a thing that starts the story. They use a whole episode to give you all of the exposition you need to follow along, because they don't give you any more exposition. Episode 1, they're not worried about what you remember or what you don't remember, because they're like, we'll get to it. They just keep telling the story.
And they even set you up a little bit because he says that his goal of coming to Earth was to be Earth's sole protector. So you're like, oh, okay, like, cool, like that makes sense. That's why he killed all these people. Mind game.
I don't know. When you look at it, it's like Soul Protector was kind of, even though he had a team, he was out maneuvering them the entire time. But I watched this entire series with my brother, and like he called it. He's like, that guy is not under mind control. Ain't nothing wrong with him, but what he chose to do.
Well, I mean,
but that's what's brilliant about the storytelling. They didn't try to do any subterfuge. They didn't try to do any sleight of hand. They just let him be dirt. And it was clear from the moment he walked in there killing folks, and he put his hand through Green Ghost's head.
Just like through the head. Punching through stomachs.
The only question at that point
fish.
is, why is he this evil? Because it's clear that Omni-Man is now a villain.
Did you know Green Ghost was Sneak with Martin Green?
Was who?
Sneak with Martin Green.
No.
Yeah. Look, they got good people to do parts even.
It's interesting you say, because I didn't know that she was in it, and I don't remember who all of them.
Oh, they were all straight rip-off DC characters.
Oh yeah, they were all.
Yeah, I have no idea, and it didn't matter who they were because we never went back to.
It was Darkwing, Red Runner, Green Ghost,
Martian. It was just Martian. They just went with Martian.
They didn't care. I was like, this is dope. They don't.
What was his name?
care.
Unstoppable. What was his name?
It was Red.
Oh, you're talking about the Immortal?
The Immortal.
The Immortal.
I don't remember.
Who got ripped in half.
Twice. He just couldn't keep it together.
Immortal got ripped in half twice. It's fine. It's okay.
I think
that's the game we're playing.
The cast that they were able to assemble, I think, is because Robert Kirkman was behind this and he wrote it. And a lot of those people have been associated with The Walking Dead. So as soon as he said, I'm doing a thing, they were like, okay.
And voiceover sessions take a long time and pay a lot. So it's not like they showed up and got $3.
He didn't
Right.
have to twist nobody's arm.
No, no.
They got that script. He did not have to twist any arms. He didn't even have to
I mean,
ask a lot.
how cool is it? I mean, it's even cooler, like structurally in a story, like you said, Carla. If you do get all these people that you're like, ooh, these are great actors, or these are great characters, they're gonna stick around for a long time, and then they all did, all of them, every single one of them, all of them at the same time.
Really.
And now we have to go home with him.
Right. And that's the
have to go
other brilliant
home
thing
with
it
him.
does is that like the audience is aware of everything in this show. And I love when you know more than like when you know so much more than the characters. You always kind of know a little bit more than the characters in the story, but here they were like, oh no, we want to give you every detail, we're going to give you every side, like, and that builds your tension inside of like, oh my god, like and everything is so specific. Like, you know, when Mark doesn't have his phone, like, you know. Like you as a person cannot forget these details that they just like drop at you. Like,
I was trying to think of what her name
But
was.
I mean, like, for me, the key to episode 1 is you see Mark getting his powers, and his dad is not exactly thrilled about it. And you're like, why not? Can you imagine if that was like an actual, like, if he didn't have this dark motivation going on in the background, he should be thrilled. He should be absolutely over the moon.
well, and with the dark motivation, he should also be thrilled. And my reason behind him not being thrilled changed after I got to the end of the series. In the beginning, I mean, I feel like it's a common trope that white fathers don't like when their children start doing things in media. Like, they just, it automatically becomes a competition. Like, they're on there, like, it's automatically like, oh, I'm not. And that's why he punched him in the chest so hard. Like, I was like, oh, I see the story they're building. Like, they're building this very, like, you'll never be as good as me story.
Right.
Once we got to the end, I was like, oh, like, I think that there's a piece of him that actually got comfortable with his life. I think there was a piece of him that was going to decide once Mark reached 18 that he wasn't gonna do it. Like that he was gonna like let this like domination piece go and just live.
Yeah, it felt like he was praying at the end in that last sequence with him and Mark. It felt like the whole time he was praying that he didn't get his powers. Like, he did not want him to have his powers.
Well, because he literally said, like, it might be worse that he got it. Like, it might be the worst things happen to our lives that he got his powers. Because it was a quick switch, too. He went from playing the game with these people to murdering them, like, in moments. Like, because then he was like, okay, back in action mode. Like, he was like, okay, now I have to. Like, I think that he was within a year or less time of making the decision of not to do it. And Mark getting his powers is what pushed him over the edge to be like, well, I have to now.
Right. I agree with that.
But yeah, what you're saying, structure. They built that whole story out before they started any of what you see.
Killing off folks. Yep, they built that story out.
Pretty brilliant.
And the fact that they were doing the post-credit stuff like Marvel.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like, I love what they stole. This is the other brilliance in the writing. It's not just that they cobbled these worlds together, it's the way they stole it. They took the best of Marvel and the most problematic characters from DC. Because I hate that alien. I've always hated it. This is who Omni-Man is, who Superman has always been in my mind.
And the reason is because of the ultimate problem that we have in this show. You can't kill this man. Like you can't do anything to stop him. Like, and so if he decides that he's going to be evil and destroy everyone, he can and will. Actually, there was a part when I know we're jumping all around. We do this sometimes. But I think it was episode 3 when he ended up in that other dimension, and then he like destroyed that whole universe. There was a part of me.
Just go and have a little talk with people.
She know what that means. But there was a part of me that was like, oh, this man destroyed Viltrum. Like he conquered the whole place and brought it all down, and now he's just like doing that all around. Like I thought that he was doing it on his own. And like at that point, I was like, oh, this is just who he is. Like he got so strong and he destroyed everyone on his own planet, and now he's just on a rampage everywhere. That's what I thought we were going to end up getting to. It's not what happened, but the show had me thinking.
Poor Debbie. Oh, yeah. Is that her name? Debbie?
Yes, yeah. Debbie, played by the marvelous Sandra Oh.
You better give me that. You better give me that voice acting. You better give me all of that emotion in your voice, Sandra.
I was afraid for her life.
I wasn't, and that's what I loved about her. Like I loved that she wasn't afraid for her life. Like when she threw that wine bottle at that man, they could literally throw her through 7 houses and didn't give us, and then went upstairs and slammed the door. She knew he wasn't going to do nothing. I was saying to Carl this morning that Debbie reminds me of like she's like the commander of the superhero team that has no powers, and you're like, why don't they just kill this bitch? Because that's the power that she owns. She walks into a space, people know who she is, they know that she's about business, they don't play with her. Like, and they know more than her, they are more studied, they have more credentials, they have superpowers. Debbie don't care, and neither do they.
I know her. I recognize that about Debbie, but we knew that he put his fist through that man's head. And so I was afraid for Debbie.
I was never afraid for Debbie, because Debbie got it. She understood the game. And that was the thing that was so interesting about Nolan's character, even though we loathe and despise that alien. The interesting thing is because he says it later, and don't mean to jump around, when he goes, I did love your mother like a pet.
Ooh.
That was amazing.
And that's why she wasn't afraid. Because we don't kick our dogs. We don't beat on our animals.
She didn't see herself as a pet. She
didn't understand it as that, but she understood the energy that he gave her. She didn't understand it as that until she heard the words. But she knew in her heart he wasn't going to put his hands on her. And we know
that's why she threw that wine. Wild drunk. She was vulnerable and she threw that wine. She didn't care. She turned her back on him. Like, I was like that. Yeah, I ain't worried about that.
In the scene 6, when she screamed, F you, Nolan.
Get out of my house.
Get out of my house, Nolan.
Because you know that's her house. She's a real estate agent. He out here writing travel books. I did enjoy that aspect of the relationship, like this idea that they'd be like, where do you want to go on a date? And they would fly like around the world. Like that was cute. Also, shout out to the interracial couples. This white man with this Asian family. And then this Asian man with this black woman. Like, and I was like, come on now. I was like, y'all better write it in.
Okay, so now what's okay?
And I believe those were changes. Those were changes from the comic book.
Right. And so, of course, you had people that were upset. Her name is Amber, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
They
I was gonna say white people were upset.
Right.
About what?
That Amber is now a brown character.
Well, and
on the show.
Mark and Debbie are Asian.
Okay, so here's the thing. I was irritated with Amber's character, because she's a superhero stupid girlfriend. That's what irritated me. Can we get to the point? The fact that she was black was not the problem. The fact that she was just like, what's her name? Mary Jane, or any of these other superhero girlfriends. And she's running around putting herself in danger and waiting for this fool to come back.
And she knew who he was. He didn't know that she knew, but she knew who he was. And she still held things against him, even knowing
See, I'm a
I don't
stand
know
up
if
for
that's a
Amber.
problem.
I got to stand up for Amber. Here's
Oh,
why.
Lord.
She gave that man so many opportunities to just tell her the truth. She literally said to him, "Is there something that you are not telling me that is the reason that you keep showing up late?" And he was like, "I'm gonna do better." And she's like, "Okay." Like I mean, how you gonna get mad at me for not giving you any consideration for your situation when you just been ditching me and not actually telling me the truth and think you can call me with a rock? Like, I ain't gonna fault her for being like, yeah, I know, dummy. Like, that's why you could have just said, that's why I was late. But you didn't. So I don't care that you can fly. Fly boy, out the window, downstairs. I don't care.
She
Like,
told him, fly in which way you want to fly,
I mean,
or take.
she did define some very clear boundaries. Don't miss dinner. It's important to me. D- d- I- you're a superhero or not? Make other plans. Get somebody else to do it. You gotta roll the
or
dice.
if you're gonna miss dinner, call me and say, yo, listen, there's an
It's
octopus
not
on
gonna
the Empire
happen.
State Building. I know you see it on the news. I gotta go fix it. I'm gonna be probably a couple hours late. Like, I'm just be real.
I think that that's the part where they were leaning heavily on Spider-Man, juggling
Yes,
these worlds,
yes.
juggling school, and I got to do well in school, and I have to meet my mother's expectations, and now I got these crazy expectations from my father to go out here and save people, and I got this girl that I really like her, but I don't know that I can tell her because I am a teenage boy and my daddy told me not to.
I
I mean,
never
for
liked the superhero girlfriend role. I never liked that character because I just don't understand. Then, if you know, girl, just tell him. Listen, I'm sick of the
Right.
lies. I know you are
Right.
you invincible now, and you got a little cape or whatever. You got goggles, and so what does that mean? Can you come there or not? Just
Right. I put that back on her.
you know what?
I put it on
That's
her.
See,
some trust, though. I'm
mm-mm,
not putting that on her. That's not
mm-mm,
her. Shit. Mm-mm.
no,
Well, no,
no.
he wouldn't have had to tell her. She should have just been like, I'm
Right.
tired of the okey doke.
Because she
I'm so,
already knew.
Why do we
he
continue
can't.
to put black women in the position to tell these black men what they are?
Like, hold up a minute. You got two black women telling
And, and this is the, okay. Let me tell you the thing.
just tell
Let me talk to you about the thing. Here's the thing. It is not about that, and that is the point I was trying to make. None of the racial iterations made a bit of difference to me
Mm-mm.
because the archetypes were so strong and triggered me in very particular ways. That character is an archetype, and I didn't care if she was dipped in purple glue. I was not gonna like that because I don't like that character. But she was necessary for the storytelling.
She was.
The character was
because
necessary.
when you have a character that is Mark and
Hmm.
invincible, and
Hmm.
he's trying to do everything he can to uphold all of these new standards that have been put on his shoulders, and one of them is you keep your identity a secret. You don't know this girl like that, and my mama told me not to say nothing, so I know he's not gonna say nothing. Tell him that you know.
Exactly. And the other thing is the secret identity in the world full of superheroes. Because what we find out, what is
Right.
that? I think episode 2 or 3, we find out that
They got like
they have
5 teams.
competition. It's like
Yeah.
teams. They like competing against each other. They're like frats and sororities.
Mhm.
Why did we have a secret identity if everybody at high school knows that you compete on the superhero team?
Well, that's the
Right.
weird thing, and that's always been my thing with superheroes. Is like, like y'all walk around here telling me that y'all know that's Eve when she don't put on the single mask. Like it's always the stuff that we're like people just don't know. They're like, oh, it's the cognitive dissonance. Like now that you say it, I see it, but nah.
Like her putting on that pink tennis dress made a whole big difference. Y'all,
Yep.
y'all couldn't tell that was her in that pink tennis dress. Come on now, you know that's her.
And I mean, William couldn't tell that he was invincible. That's his friend. And all he did was put a thing on, I mean, cover up his eyes.
And he's like,
Same hair.
Like, whatever. Come on now. Y'all are not that. But, again, when they write white supremacy in the storylines, that's part of it. Part of the I don't see color and I don't see your superhero status. You're just my friend. I didn't notice that boy beat you to a pulp and you just stood there and took it after you had gotten beaten the day before, a week before, and you got your ass whooped. I didn't.
That was the other thing I
all.
didn't like about Amber. She didn't pay any attention to him until he got beat up. Then she paid him attention.
And again, I don't care if she was dipped in orange glow paint. That superhero girlfriend character irritates my soul in every iteration.
Yeah.
Because she's always an F girl. Very DC-ish.
Okay, so the episode's in the middle. Here Goes Nothing is the second episode. His father is out of action. Mark is struggling to defend the city against interdimensional invasion and joins forces with a team of teenage superheroes. The robot, that's the one with Robot, right?
Yeah, Robot.
Yeah, Robot.
Yes.
Robot is played by Zachary Quinto. And some of the voices, you just knew when you heard them. Zachary Quinto was one. His friend is William, and that's played by Andrew Reynolds.
Andrew Reynolds, Omaha native.
Yes.
I did not know that.
You didn't. What didn't you know?
I just didn't know that.
That he's from Omaha?
Yeah, did not know that.
We get so few.
I know.
That's not even true. We have a lot.
Y'all do have a lot.
New
Per capita.
characters.
Overrepresented a little bit. Okay.
Per capita. You got some black celebs per capita and some white celebs per capita. It's a bunch of y'all.
I guess.
Okay.
Okay. So we know, and at that point we know what Omni-Man has done. And he's in the hospital and everybody's crying over him. And the devil is walking around with a trench coat.
Let me talk to you about Dark Blood.
Dark Blood is my favorite character of all time.
Let me talk to you
Period.
about Dark Blood.
Period.
Hands down, Dark Blood sounds like Yoda, first of all. Secondly, he's not the devil, he's just a demon.
He's just a demon.
And third, he has a tail. Dark Blood speaks like Yoda, and every time he goes somewhere, it's cold. You can see your breath.
I love that.
My favorite.
Oh, I love that moniker. I was like, yes. Yes, please.
And he just shows up, and he appears.
He just appears and does a whole Matlock thing every time he shows up.
Well, because that was the other brilliant thing that this show did, is that they wasted no time showing us that everybody knew the truth. Like, they wasted no time being like, yeah, Dark Blood clearly knows exactly what's happening. Cecil knows exactly what's happening. Like, even from that first time, Cecil knew. Like, Cecil ain't dumb.
He wasn't letting it on.
Right.
But he knew something was wrong.
Oh, he compartmentalizes as just the default setting. Like, I know this. Nobody else needs to know I know this. You might know I know this. And we can have a conversation.
It's like Cecil works at a nonprofit. It's like Cecil's a white man at a nonprofit.
Oh my God. Cecil. I think that he's the realist of the group. He knew that Omni-Man couldn't be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew that once Debbie found out what happened, that was going to be over.
Yeah.
And
It's like
he hoped that Mark didn't just join him, because then they have no chance at all
Right.
with the both of them. So his hope was to get Invincible to be able to fight him, but Invincible was not as strong as Omni-Man.
Mm-mm.
He got like baby powers
Right.
compared to Omni-Man.
But it was Cecil's only hope.
Yeah.
And then, and Dark Blood was running around there like, I can tell you something I know. Omni-Man murdered, maybe. Like, he was like, you telling us, you making us cold. Dark Blood is everything I need. Can I say one thing about all of the villains? Every single villain was the villain that I always wanted DC to really give me, but they never delivered. Every one of these villains was the villain that I always want to see when I watch some DC stuff, and it's never there. Like Dr. Seismic. We love Dark Blood because he's a demon and everything, but Dr. Seismic.
What did
Jay,
Dr.
why are you
Seismic
looking
do?
like that?
Because I don't remember
Dr.
who that
Seismic.
is.
Okay, so remember when they were, I think it was between 2 and 3, he was running around with the teens and they're fighting. And so him and Pink.
This was actually, I think this might have been 4 or 5. This was after they auditioned for the new Guardians.
Okay.
And so they had put Eve on the team, but she was like, I can't be on the team with Rex because he cheated on me with Duplicate. And so then he chose
because that was nasty.
Cecil called Invincible and Eve to go and stop Dr. Seismic.
Now, Dr. Seismic is the one who had the bracelet.
Mount Rushmore.
Oh, okay.
At Mount Rushmore. He is my favorite because they found a way to weave in a Mayo sapien jab. He was like, you should want me to blow this up because all of these men had slaves. And then when they're fighting him, Eve says, aren't you supposed to be a geologist or a physiologist? He was like, and I'm a psychologist and I took African dance. Is the greatest villain of all time.
I also just want to give a shout out to Eve. My close personal friend Gillian Jacobs is the voice of Eve. We were in one scene together in a film called I Used to Go Here, which is also available on Amazon Prime.
Shameless plug.
Right. Okay, so is Black Samson, is that the one that we see his kid and his wife?
No.
That's Mahershala Ali, whose name is
I forget what his
it's one word.
name.
It's like one word. It's like Rock or something like that. No, he turns into Rock. But what's his character's name?
That's right.
I'm about to look.
That's
I'm
right.
about to look for the cast.
Titan,
yes.
Titan.
Yes.
Can I tell you, Titan was sexy.
He was, even as a Rock.
I was like, even as a Rock. I was like, you better cock them jeans, sir. You better fight and save your family and become the boss.
Right?
You better manipulate these young minds.
He was so manipulated.
It was Luke Cage.
Yes, baby.
Yes.
It was Luke Cage.
It was all the Luke Cage I ever needed.
And you have Mahershala Ali voicing Luke Cage when he was Cottonmouth.
It was so great.
Yeah.
It was everything. It was everything.
Because I loved the spin on how he, got the guy out of the way. And now, I'm just going to. Now I run this.
I mean, the penthouse is unoccupied. Nobody's using it. I guess I'll just.
Yeah. Right. Literally.
Creep on
We
over
live here now. Ignore the bullet holes.
Yeah, and
Well,
the giant smash wounds, that was a wild scene too. Like, I was like, I know Mark is gonna make it because the show is his name. But man,
Woo.
I was
That fight went on
What
for
episode
15
was
minutes.
that?
it was so long. It was a long
I
fight
was like, this
scene.
is the longest fight ever.
So we'll see
Really?
Titan again in episode or in season 2, right?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
We're gonna see
Yeah.
Titan. We're gonna see. Oh yeah, because he's in the montage at the end. Yeah, we're gonna see Titan again.
Yeah.
We're gonna see that lion again. And that's
The
gonna be a
lion
battle.
was sexy too. Lion was
The Lion
sexy.
Man?
Yeah, the lion.
Lion
Man.
man, I was like, oh, hello.
He was the
That's
only
Michael
one
Dorn.
that seemed to Battle Beast. He was the only one that presented any kind of combat to Omni-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe they juice him up.
I think Cecil's gonna get that phone number. Just like, hey, you got Battle Beast on speed dial.
Because they brought him back to life.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
To fight it.
what? No,
No.
I think you made that up.
Just fine. You,
Battle
Are you
Beast.
sure?
Yeah,
brought
Omni Man
back,
was not. Omni Man was not involved in that fight in the with.
Oh no,
Titan.
he watched it.
No,
He did
not with
watch it.
Titan. Not with Titan. No,
Okay.
I'm talking about the guy that he fights. I thought you were talking about the guy.
That's Immortal. Immortal is the one you're.
Yes. I'm talking about Immortal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they probably went back Immortal, but you know.
They keep
It's
bringing him
immortal.
back, but he just gonna keep getting ripped in half.
Oh, he's gonna have to come up with a new strategy.
Ha ha ha!
They're gonna have
'Cause
to
every
give him
time
super
he-
soldier
he-
serum.
So he gets something. He keep getting ripped in half, literally in half. Like not just ripped this way, but that way. Like it's bad. He takes him off at the lower intestine every time. It's a lot.
Okay, so episode 3 is Who You Calling Ugly. Mark has to cut a study date short to help save Mount Rushmore. That's what we were just talking about. From the crazy scientist. Robot deals with action comic as he assembles a new team of world-saving superheroes. And then episode 4 is Neil Armstrong, Eat Your Heart Out. It's 2 firsts for Mark, a first date and a first trip to another planet. At the same time,
Mars trip.
Nolan
What's that?
and Debbie revisit their own first vacation together.
That's another moment when I knew Nolan was the devil. So it's a whole dragon attacking the city. And your wife is like, dude, do you see the whole dragon behind you? I'm on vacation.
Right.
Let someone else.
Somebody else can handle that.
Well, and it's also, I mean, a shift in he was out of character. Like he no longer needed to save the day. That wasn't his goal anymore. Like
Right.
he didn't have to play that role anymore. He's not a hero anymore.
But that was one of those breadcrumbs they gave you, one of those little bitty, succulent, tasty croutons that you got every 5 minutes in this episode. And you're like, oh, crunch, 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 crunch. There's a dragon, and he's not a crunch, crunch, crunch. He's not saving lives. Crunch, crunch, crunch. It was delicious. It was delicious.
It's like, well, I'm gonna finish my lunch first. I was about.
I was like, ooh, Nolan.
Where's
ain't
this
nothing.
negotiated to start?
She was like, there's a whole dragon. You see it?
Yeah.
Where'd they go on their first date? Were they in Thailand or Paris?
Paris.
They were in
Paris.
Paris.
Okay.
They were in Paris. And I also like that element, Nick, when she, distract and keep him from coming home so she could find all of his evidence. She
Yes.
him around.
She was like, okay, it'll take about 20 minutes.
I want you to go to Milan and give me
Because the
this.
demon
this.
got to her.
Listen, Dark Blood, you have to say his name. We have to
Right.
honor the demon. We have to honor the demon.
Oh my gosh.
And
And I
the fact
love
he always had a fedora on. He was always brimmed.
Well, he's a
with it.
detective. I just love.
Yes.
I also love that Mark literally went to Mars, just to set off the little ugly Martian bug things, and so that Jimon Hansu could be the Martian Emperor. I don't see any other reason for him going up to Mars. I mean,
Well,
that plot line is going to come back in the
Right.
next season as they showed us in a little montage at the end.
Right.
But literally, that was the reason. Like, it didn't come back to anything in this season. I thought that was perfectly fine because it was a funny reminder at the end of the episode. You're like, oh yeah, that problem does exist. That is a problem.
And can we just take a moment for Jaimin Han's career? You talk about a career. If I was an actor, I would kill for Jaimin's career.
Yeah.
Animation has been good to him.
Mm-hmm.
Animation has been good to that man with that beautiful African voice. Oh,
Because he was T'Challa in Black Panther.
Was he?
In the animated, yeah,
Nah,
the one that the
yeah,
Hoodlums
it
did.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Animation has been good to him. He
Yeah.
voiced something else. What did he voiced?
I mean, he's filming one right now in 2021. Like he's doing a show called Blazing Samurai as another voice. Like he's just booked.
And please go see his documentary Voodoo. Please watch that documentary. I believe it's on Prime as well.
Mm.
It is amazing.
I didn't know that he did that.
Amazing. That is his documentary. It is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Like what is this we're watching now? High on Hawk. It's that level of black intensity. So go, Jaimin.
Plus, the man got some MCU dollars, so he's doing well.
Oh, he's doing
Oh,
great.
he's fine.
Jaimin's happy. Jaimin's sitting at home on the weekends like he's like Jaimin's good.
For how many lines? Who? Like
literally.
Jaimin is okay.
Well, and I also no, go for it.
Oh no.
I was just gonna say I don't want to. Voice acting is hard, and I've only booked one gig, and I think it was an 8-hour day, and when I left, I felt like I had done a musical twice. Like voice acting is a lot of work, and especially when you have to go when you are just doing what or like who or fight sounds. That's so I only say that just not to, I don't want to diminish the work that these actors were doing in the show because it is a lot. They did a lot of acting and a lot of noises and a lot of dying sounds.
The amount of time, if you've never sat in the studio that long, the amount of time you have to be in that dark room, you're not acting with anyone. Mm-hmm. I don't think people.
But you have to do it. You have to do it.
Right. And then there are people watching you because they're drawing a lot based on you and what you're doing, which is why, when we see Whoopi's hyena, that's Whoopi's hyena. They were actually drawing it when she was doing that. So it's a difficult gig. But baby, if you can get, because Jaimin is making that voiceover money. And he is living his best life.
and like Vin Diesel when he does Groot, and he only ever says, "I am Groot."
I am Groot.
But he has a script to give him what is this Groot? What does this "I am Groot" actually mean? And he has to say "I am Groot" like hundreds of times so that they can pick the right one to go with the scene that he's in.
The way I cried
you can't fake
we
it.
Are Groot. Oh, when he fell, I cried. I wept. I was like, oh, we are Groot.
You can't fake it in the booth either, because it's only your voice. And so even if you're like, I'm giving an energetic performance, blah 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 blah, you're not. Unless you are fully how when you're at your customer service job, sometimes you can be like, hello, thank you so much for calling. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And you fool the people. You ain't fooling it in the voiceover booth. It has to be full on action. So It's a lot.
Yeah.
And I still can't see. And then we'll move to episode 5. That actually hurt. I can't. Bradley Cooper, is that his name? Bradley Cooper plays.
Rocket
He
Raccoon.
voices Rocket the Raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
I still can't see him in that voice. That voice is so unique. I can't see Bradley Cooper at all. As many times as I've seen the movie and seen him, it's like I can't. That's not him.
And
that's just
that,
like,
and that's the work, man. That's the good work of the Lord. Because it is completely separate.
Yeah.
Special shout out to Nicole Byer, who voices both the mama and the child of Titan. That you didn't know.
Oh,
That you didn't
Did
know.
not know she was doing that.
Yes.
now I know that.
Yeah.
Come on. Giving us greater Regina King energy.
Mm-hmm. Right. And I think
I'm going to be all Jay people today.
Jade, I think we can read 5 and 6 too, because I think we've already talked about 5, because that's one where he gets hit in the stomach by Lion Man.
Right. 6, you look kind of dead. Mark joins William and Amber on campus. Visit to Upstate University. Hoping to discover a new future for himself, Debbie makes her own disturbing discovery. Okay.
Debbie! Oh my God. I loved her so much from the beginning, but when she gave him that 20-minute errand around the world and started snooping around that house, that's when I was like, you a real one, Debbie. You a real one.
It couldn't be me.
Debbie had been right since she saw Dark Blood. Since she saw Dark Blood in her kitchen, she had knew that there was something she had to find out.
Let me just tell y'all, I literally blocked somebody on a dating app today over Debbie.
Please tell the story. Please tell the story.
So I was talking to this man on this dating app, and I was like, I just finished watching Invincible. He was like, oh, it's so good. And I was like, yes, it is really good. And I was like, Omni-Man ain't shit, which is what I also posted on my Facebook after I started watching the show. And he was like, well, but he's not wrong. Like, we should just blow this place up and build a bridge. And I was like, see, this is why I can't talk to people. I was like, but also here's the thing. Humanity, yes, weird, terrible. But also my issue was less with, because he's an alien, of course he wants to conquer. My issue was less with him being a terrible Superman. My issue was with his bombastic and horrible tactics, like the fact that he just so gruesomely murdered people so like drastically. Now that this man did agree with, and then I said that I love Debbie, and he was like, "Dad, Debbie's a bird. Like she just let that. She should have noticed. She should have noticed so long ago that this was what it was going to be." And I was like, "I'm sorry." Debbie was told for 20 years that his whole purpose of being on the earth was to assimilate and become a human so that he could protect the earth. And actually, her lessons of humanity is the only thing that saved Mark's life. Like the fact that he remembered that lesson about having a child that Debbie taught him is the thing. And he was like, I guess that's a great fan theory. And I said, sir, that's not a fan theory. That's in the text. And I blocked him because what you're not going to do is question Debbie and question my knowledge of stories in the same breath.
Because he's clearly stupid to be in a relationship with you. And he's actually too stupid to let you knock him off. He did not deserve you. He's beneath you.
Thank you.
Right.
That's what I thought. That's why I blocked him.
I mean, as much as Omni-Man says Debbie's a pet, this entire season is about Debbie finding out. Because nothing is a problem. Cecil keeps the secret. Omni-Man keeps the secret. Cecil gets rid of Dark Blood so the secret can be kept. But as soon as the secret's out, when Debbie knows, it's all over.
Because everybody knows Debbie means business.
Yep.
Like when she came in, I think it was the first infirmary scene where she came in and she was, and Cecil was like, blah, blah. She was like, cut the shit, Cecil. Like, take me to my husband.
She was like, what is all this small? She could, what she told him, she was like, I don't need, cut the tour. I don't need the tour.
We're not here for the tool, Mark, or whatever his name, like whatever that man's name was. Ronald. It was Ronald. R.I.P. Ronald. She's like, we're not here for the tour, Ronald.
He was like, okay, all right. He was.
Oh, and when she said to Cecil, this is why I've never fucking liked you. I don't think she said fucking. She said it in her head. That's what she said in her head.
She said it. I know. She said it out loud to him.
Yeah, she did.
She was
She
like, "This
did.
is why I never liked you."
What?
And then,
Yeah, she
I
didn't say
mean,
the F word. She said that out loud.
there was so many moments with Debbie where we're watching, and I think that's one of the things that was endearing about this show. The way it's written, the way the animation is drawn, you can see human work happening. We watched Debbie clean up what's a Red Runner's wife's house,
Mm-hmm.
and that whole sequence was so powerful. Watching
Yeah.
her come to realizations about how this went. Like, did my husband murder this woman's husband? Who are these people? Were my friend? What? Huh? And you could see that being told just in her simply cleaning, organizing the house, in the way she
Mhm.
lied to the people. She got another job opportunity. You could see the work in the character. Anybody talking bad about Debbie wasn't raised by. They mama's a wolf.
Episode 7 is We Need to Talk. Feeling lost and confused, Mark looks for advice from Eve. At the same time, everyone's looking for him.
I would also just like to shout out a little subplot that we haven't really been talking about, and that kind of bubbles up in this episode with Robot.
Mhm.
He
Ooh.
has stolen. You don't really know what's happening with Robot, but you know that he's assembled the team. And for a minute, I thought that he was working with Cecil to get the Marler brothers to kind of just be this evil thing that they could fight. But then after we got through the cloning, so Robot is essentially creating a youth version of himself, which is not something that he ever really wanted to do until he met Monster Girl, because now he in love.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to mention that subplot as we are discussing
Yeah,
things.
Stole Rex's
robot.
blood to make a body. Which
Robot is on the ridiculous end. He is on some bull dookie.
this is
We do not even get down with Robot. We not with him. You are Robot is really whack. We have to watch
Mm-hmm.
the whackness
I'm
in
Yes.
sorry.
season 2.
And
There
what's his
was
name?
the
Black Power? What's the man's name?
Black Samson.
Black Samson. What are
Black
his powers? Because we learned that he got them back, but we never saw them. So I would love to know what he can do.
Well,
I will
Was it
other
something
than
with electricity or
cuss out
something?
little white children.
Right, because he cussed all them kids out. Everybody. He was like, listen here, you little motherfucker. I've been here before you.
And
I
that's
was like,
Kari
is this your
Payton.
superpower? Because
And that's
my superpower was cussing out white children. I was like, I related.
I can't remember what. Ezekiel. Is it Ezekiel on The
What?
Walking Dead? Kari Payton
Oh.
is the one with the locks,
Yeah,
with the big gray
I don't
locks.
watch Walking Dead.
that pretty boy.
Yeah.
I just know who the
All
actor is. I
time,
don't watch Walking Dead.
this entire season, I understood Rex being angry and agreed with him was when he found
Yes.
out Robot stole his blood and made a clone. It's
Like,
like, why
"Ew, what?"
does that child look like me? What?
Rex was hilarious.
Rex was funny. Rex was like the perfect archetype of like superhero fuckboy. Like just he's
Rex,
just
Rex was the hottest hot mess. Like, he is a wonder twin. Rex is a form of water. Like,
Also-
he is a wonder twin. He is stupid. And
right.
he was
How do
sleeping with
do the
triplets,
Kates
clones.
not can they not think the same thoughts? Like I would think that if Kate came out and was like, "Ooh, Eve is here," that they would like go away or like something instead of him. Like I imagine that what Eve walked in on was nasty. Like I don't think that there was anything normal going on in that shower.
No, it was filthy. There were parts. There were super
Yeah.
parts. It was something going on up in that shower.
The
That little
shower
girl,
that will
Eve, could
never
not-
clean you.
Because it was 3 of them.
Yes, and it was filthy.
And she was the
coming
one that was able to get away.
She was coming to get something. I believe there was a scene being up in there that is not PG.
No.
It was
Not
rated
at all.
R. It was rated R.
The last
No, Rex was
episode,
a filthy fuck boy. I loved him.
Jason Mantzoukas.
Yes.
Yes. Great casting.
Yeah.
He is ridiculous.
He'll do anything.
Yeah, and it was funny listening to his voice and looking at that character. All I could see was him, the actual person. I couldn't see Rex. I have no idea what he looks like because he looked like Jason.
That's one of those where they were in there and he was so expressive in the booth. When you see that, you know who the person in the booth, what they were doing. That means he was in the booth all like whoop, whoop, the bam, through the whole thing.
Yeah.
He was in there.
So, the final episode 8, where I really come from. Mark must prove he's become the hero he's always wanted to be by stopping an unstoppable force. That is
Nolan is a
daddy.
filthy, dirty dog.
That final scene was difficult to. I mean, the whole episode is just Mark. It's 45 minutes of Mark getting his ass beat. Like 45 minutes.
When I tell you, when he knocked his teeth out, and then they did the cut to, and that moment, I was in here like I was watching a movie. I was like, oh, this is brilliant storytelling, because I thought that at some point they would back him off that beating. But they took it to the brink. He was going to beat his own son.
He was one punch away. He was one punch away.
One punch away from killing it.
It was as much a mental beatdown as it was a physical one too. It's like,
yeah,
you don't get it.
When he ran him through the trunk.
These are insects.
And that's the part. That's the part that I'm saying it could not be live action, because the carnage in that train station was just insane. Like,
and just the way the human brain is set up, you could not watch that and attach that. There has to be a cognitive dissonance. It has to be a suspension of disbelief, and that suspension is anime. If they have the technology exists to create that scene with human beings, with people. But what would that send most human beings through to look at that? I can watch it. And I like me some blood and guts.
I could barely watch the cartoon.
Oh my God, it was terrible. It was terrible.
But I got the point. Nolan lives on an infinite timeline, and these people are like insects. He doesn't think about them. He doesn't process their lives in the same way. And narratively, that was a really good shortcut to get you there.
Well, and I think. Oh, sorry. Give me a second.
Water.
Hydrate.
Nolan was coming for me. I also think that in some ways Nolan had to make a drastic left. Like, I think that's why he became so brutal, is because like I said, going back to what I said at the beginning, I think that he was about to give up. Like, he was about to be like, I'm gonna just live here. I'm gonna just be the hero. I think that he also just had to continue to prove to himself that he thought that everything was insignificant. And then he was just mad. Like at that point, he was just mad that his son wasn't just saying yes.
He's looking for a tag team partner on his path of destruction. And he's been trying to get Mark there the whole season when you go back and look at it. From when he punched him in the chest to when he let Worf beat him up. I mean, just like whatever he was doing, it's just like telling him not to go. Why are you going to try to help Titan? That guy is a problem he's got his own problems. He's going to drag you into problems. It's like, okay.
I'm telling you, it was the broader dialogue about colonization and white supremacy. It was this whole season was about I am grooming you to take over the world. These people are beneath you. These moments are beneath you, which is why it was brilliant that they did a full multicultural cast, because it ain't about race. This is colonization happens all over the world. People colonize people that look like them. It is a mentality, it's a supremacist mentality, and that's what they were trying to explore, I think, successfully with this piece.
When he leaves him and Invincible he sees this mother and the child in the building, and the building is about to fall, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna save the woman and her kid.
Mhm.
And when at the end of it all, when he's just holding her
Her
hand,
arm. Messy.
It's just like he saved the pilot out the airplane, and no one just
And
came
then
and
his
crushed
dad's
his.
like, ah!
right? Oh my
It's like, what's
Crushed
the
his
point?
head though. When he crushed his head though, I
That
was
was
like,
just
"You are the devil. You are the damn devil." They banished Dark Blood to hell. Why didn't they take you with them? They
Right.
should have banished
They
you
did Dark
somewhere.
Blood dirty.
They did do
They
Dark Blood
did Dark
dirty.
Blood dirt, but Dark
They
Blood would
did
be
Dark
back.
Blood.
Hashtag justice for Dark Blood.
Justice for Dark Blood. He did not deserve to be banished. He was just trying to get at the truth. And I know it wasn't on Cecil's timeline, but you ain't have to banish him. That was dirt. It's dirt.
Cecil is an unrelenting pragmatist, and well, he's got goals, and they include the
Free Dark
survival of
Blood.
anybody.
I
That's
also
not on
want to
me.
know. I also have a couple of questions about Cecil. I wonder, did he ever have powers, and what happened to his face?
Mm.
I
Oh,
wonder if we're ever gonna explore that in this next season. Because I
I
think the
don't
way,
know
I
what
mean,
else.
clearly there's some history. There's some history between him and Omni Man.
Well,
And
I kind of took his character like what's his name from Marvel? Samuel Jackson's character. Um
oh, Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. I
Mm.
kind of see Cecil's character like a Nick Fury character. Like he's got access to all the good shit, knows all the secrets, but I don't think he has powers. He's been in some battles and stuff, and I don't think he ever had powers. He's kind of Nick
So,
Fury.
given
mhm.
Omni Man's goal of hardening Mark, of moving him towards his way of thinking that these are just ants, they're bugs, you'll get over it. How changed will Mark be in season 2 to human beings?
Say that again. How chained?
Changed.
Because
Changed.
now he knows he has thousands of years to live,
And he's
and everybody knows it.
killed. He has killed a lot of people or been the cause of their death.
Right.
Gruesome deaths.
Mm-hmm. I think this endears him. This makes him more endeared to his human side. I think that if they continue on this, the way they're writing it, they will write a sabbatical for him where he walks away for a second, where he has to take a walk. He has to take a journey. He has to go to the desert. They'll write his Jesus moment where he goes to try to figure it out.
Because I think
But they
what
have to.
I think what Mark is struggling with right now is like, one, I mean, he learned from that first battle with the aliens. He was like, oh, being a hero is not like, no one listens to me because I'm a hero. And I think that that's the other piece of that was interesting to me about the way that Amber dealt with it is like, sure, I knew you were a hero, but you can't just show up in your goggles and think that I'm going to be like, oh, everything is better now. That's not how this works. Like, that is not like you being a hero does not negate that you did wrong. Like, you being a hero does not negate that you have to work through the problems. And so I think that he is like, that's what he was wrestling with. He's like, this is not as glamorous as it was. Also, there's a lot of death involved. Also, I've learned that I can't save everyone, but now it's my duty to save everyone. And now he's going to be coming up against all these situations that are stemmed from what he has done in this season. So he's going to be up against not only the responsibility of being a hero, but also the responsibility of like, I killed all these people and I'm going to kill more people because of what I've caused. And so I have to stop this. And yes, which I think all that tussle will get him his Jesus moment.
And two, he's going to have to, whatever it is, he's going to have to fight his father again. So we get our Star Wars moment, right? He's going to have to we're gonna get it. We're gonna have that moment too. And I think season 2 will be a lot about because Omni Man's despicable, disgusting, filthy self is still roaming around the galaxies being problematic. So he's gonna have
And
to fight him again.
and they said other Vultramites are coming too, or at
Yeah.
least that's what Cyclops said. That was my homie. The 2 times that he talked to do with one eye, I was with it. He said, Urath, this is Earth. Earth? Oh. My bad.
Because y'all know I'm always trying to figure out who stole what from what story. The Cyclops dude and this whole Anakin Darth Vader situation. This is all Star Wars. This is all like this is they got their Star Wars moment in too with that because that character is so Jar Jar Binks. That character is so
Jeez.
Oh my god.
just here for the shits and the giggles. Just here for the sidekickery of it all.
Their cute little conversation at the end when he was like, "Have a seat, friend. I got a lot to tell you. My dad tried to kill
we
me."
gotta talk again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
He's like, "So yes, I am him, but he tried to kill me, so I don't fuck with that."
And Cyclops dude was like, ooh. Like he's just ooh.
Well, and the fact that he was like, "Damn, man, I wish I could have warned you. Like, had I known that you didn't know, I would have told you." And then, but that's the thing. Like you said, nothing was left unsaid because then Mark is like, "Well, then I would have told my dad, and then who knows what would have happened." Like, it's probably the way it needed to happen.
Right.
Because that's the other thing is that Mark kind of came to. I mean, he's clearly depressed. He's clearly broken. He's clearly had a relationship fall apart that he has leaned on for his entire life. Like his father, the man that he wanted to be, not only because it was his father, because his father was a superhero, literally just tried to kill him. Was one punch away from killing him. But there was this almost like sense of resolve that he had, especially in this last conversation with Cyclops. That is not that man's name, but that's what I'm calling him. That I think was interesting. That was interesting in his character because he had this. He did kind of feel at peace in some kind of way, even though like he knew the path that he's like. It's like he's already preparing for the path that he knows is coming.
Well, and you get that because the writers know where the character is going. We can speculate, but you can tell the way they wrapped that 8th episode that the writers know what they're doing, that they're moving the story forward in a particular way and on purpose. They probably have 5 seasons plotted on this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, probably.
And I feel like they have, and one of the reasons I feel that way because unlike the stupid, I won't call it stupid, the Nevers, the Untouched or whatever that was we watched last week, they left no stone unturned. They turned over. They might not have, everything might not have crawled out from under the stone, but they turned over every single stone and revealed the underbelly of the story. So we know there are several different ways they can go with it. And I'm fairly certain they have a 5-season plot.
Well, and this is where the source material is already good. I mean, the Invincible graphic novel is already award-winning and several years in the making. So they have lots to pull from. And if Robert Kirkman is also writing, then he can adjust things that he wanted to. I should have done this back then. He makes those kinds of decisions because he worked on The Walking Dead for so long too. So
he knows how to move it. He knows how to move a story forward. He knows how to kill a baby, and that is so important in writing. You have to be comfortable killing a character. You have to be comfortable getting, especially in the type of storytelling, somebody got to die. And you got to be comfortable with that. And a lot of writers, that's why the stories die on the vine, because they keep the characters around too long. They won't move nobody out of town. They won't kill nobody. Or they'll kill them and bring them back and all this foolishness. Like Immortal, they're killing him and bringing him back because he's immortal. They're doing it for a reason. He can't die, so they got to keep sewing him back together after he gets ripped in half. It's a point to bringing him back. It's making a point.
And was he Abe Lincoln? I think I saw that in the montage. I was like, wait. When they were showing all of his deaths, I thought I saw like Ford's Theater. I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, you did. You did. And I was confused.
Okay.
I was like, are we saying that he was there? Like, what?
Yes.
Was he there?
Or was he Abe?
Abe Lincoln? I don't know.
But and then you have to wonder how many times have Immortal and Omni Man killed each other over the millennia? Like how many hundreds of years have they been killing each other?
Oh no.
Well,
Immortal
Omni
sounds
Man's
like
been
that was
snatching
like-
him in half.
The Immortal
Is
made
this the
it seem
first-
very much like that was the first time.
Yeah, they
I
did
just-
kind of let like you tried to kill me.
Well, that's the thing is,
Rah!
I mean, they were like, he must be under mind control. And even Debbie, she was like, dog, those were our friends. Like, you, like I imagine that the weekend before, Darkwing didn't want to be there, but he was there. He was at the cookout. Because you know that Debbie and Nolan threw a dope party, and so I imagine that
That was
a
entirely
week
Debbie's
before,
idea because Nolan didn't start that.
right? Like I imagine that a week before they were kicking it, like they were at each other's house, like everything was fine. Like they had this work issue, but that's just coworker stuff. He even said those are my coworkers. Like, and I really think that I don't think they've ever fought. I mean, they probably had arguments, or like maybe scuffles, but I don't even think they even fought like that. Like, I think that that's why they were so shocked.
But let me go back to the breadcrumbs from episode 1. So in that first battle, when we first see, and again, I love they didn't explain anything. They just show us green ghost. Waka! So in this first battle, you see Omni Man come in, and you can see the exhaustion in the rest of the Guardians of the Globe. You can see the exhaustion in their face with him. Like they made it very clear early on that he was an outsider, and they were slightly sick of his S because he would not come and be fully. He wanted the glamour showing up. So we already saw some of that. They already gave us some of the Nolan ain't really right. I mean, early on.
I mean, because it's very obvious no one could take care of any problem the Guardians came up with on his own and barely even break a sweat. He takes out that whole planet full of Martians in the third episode, and you're just like, well, if you could do that, you could have done anything. Actually, you're a legitimate problem.
He is a problem.
And now he's out here. I can't wait for season 2 because he is out here in the galaxies showing out. He's trying to walk in the line between the touch of humanity he got and his evil white supremacy. And I'm going to keep calling it white supremacy and colonization because that's what he is. That's what he is.
All right. So I'm going to ask for your score for the season. Shout out to Janine in the comments on YouTube. We were talking about Titan, and she said Luke Cage with a better personality.
Yes, we agree.
And some very loose morals. And it's like, hey, he's got him and his, and everybody else, watch your backs.
I would have been loose with Titan.
But I mean, technically, Luke Cage season 2, he ends up in Cottonmouth's office and running the establishment. Like that's where it was going. It's the same story.
They really should have done better things.
It really is.
I don't know if his morals were loose. I think that he played the same game that every white man has played to get to the top of anything since the beginning of time. I think he was just dealing the cards. He was using the cards that he had at disposal to get what he needed for his family.
And he was ensuring that he could feed his daughter
for his family, right?
Family
he actually needed that,
like today.
He can turn into rock on command. All he need to do is get away from that guy. He can do whatever he wants.
You can't eat rocks, Marcus.
Well,
kick rocks.
I'm here for Titans come up.
Yep.
And I'm here for Titans morals. And I don't care how they stay out.
He could be a one-man wrecking crew. Just he only works at night, and no one's allowed to supervise. But
But why should he
you
work
come
that
up
hard?
in the
Why does he
morning,
have to
it's
work that
all
hard?
gone.
Right. Why does he
Why does he have to
exactly?
work that work?
Thank
Why does he
you.
have to work that
Because
hard?
Thank you.
He's relaxing. He's living his best rock life. Okay?
Also, it's
Just to
not
get
like
off-
his rocks are impenetrable. Like
Because
those
you could
rocks do
break
not
them
last forever.
sometimes. Come on, they grow back, but they do break.
oh my,
He doesn't
goodness.
have to be out here breaking his nails and stuff. So
Okay.
we always want the
You're
black
like-
man to work so hard.
He
Right.
can turn into rock, but he'd rather be in the hot tub
Yes.
in the
Yes.
And
penthouse.
wouldn't you rather be in the hot tub? I know I would.
Chill out, Tesla.
Okay. Okay. So, what is your score for the season 1 of Invincible? One
we
is
all
low,
just say it at the same
5
time?
is high.
I'm giving it a 5.
5. 5's across the board.
Whole
Five.
5.
Yeah, it's.
It gave me everything.
I wasn't sure at first till I got online and saw that the right people were upset about it, and then I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a 5. I wasn't sure all the white supremacy stuff came through till the white supremacists were upset that they changed it too much from the comics. I'm like, I don't know if they did or not,
okay.
but I'm happy you're upset. I guess they did a better job.
Checkmate. Boom, boom.
All right.
To the
Well,
whispers.
5s from everyone.
Yeah.
That's a record, I feel.
It
I am like
sorry.
this, waiting for season 2. I
can't
rocking.
wait. I'm very excited for season 2.
was the high school
I
called
knew that.
Reginald Vale Johnson High School, something like that.
Yes,
No.
it was.
It was, and
was
he
the
played
principal.
Principal Winslow.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
That was such a good joke.
Yeah.
You know what other
And
joke
the-
I liked a lot? Sorry, go for it.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and again, they were in the booth with him because that was Reginald Vale Johnson walking through the halls. So that's
It was
cool. And I was
Not a
tickled.
question.
The
Not
other
a
joke that I liked a lot was U.S. Pentagon parking in the rear. I was like, why? Why is the parking on there? It's just like every time they show that sign, it said parking in rear. I was like, that is so ignorant. Like, why y'all got that on that sign?
There were a couple of cute moments like that kept it from sinking into total darkness.
Well, because that was the
But-
thing, and that's why I'm saying it's like all these genres of animation together, because it really was living in this like Family Guy, American Dad like type of humor in the midst of everything that it was like it was
Right.
talking about.
It was dark.
Felt like Daria.
Except not crass and very smart. Yes,
Yeah, it had
Daria.
some
Daria's
Daria
better.
moments.
Daria's
Yeah.
better.
It did.
All right.
I loved it.
I think we all did. It was jarring. The first episode was like, well, this is what?
And then he punched her in the head.
When he flew in,
Oh, my head.
oh my god! But when he smashed Red Rush, like,
Oh.
Yes.
It's just there was
and that poor man
They
just
just
punching his
lulled
arm,
you.
his wrist went limp as he's punching. Like the details, like he went from like punching to like wristing him, like he was.
just it was such a hard turn from everything that happened in the episode. You're just like, is that what this is? No.
Yeah.
I sat up in the bed because I was like, I told Nick yesterday I was going to settle in and just watch a few. And I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, this is good. Oh, episode 1. Okay, I see it. Then this post-credit, this murder happens. I'm like, cool. Let me sit up.
And you know how, and you know how Omni-Man is you know how he is a true villain, like that he is a villain that plans to carry out his plan. He didn't talk that whole time.
No.
They kept asking him questions. They kept saying, "Why are you doing this? Are you under mind control?" And he was just like, like he didn't stop to answer one. He didn't say nothing that whole time.
Because you can't have plausible deniability if you out here telling us doing a what's that mini me was Dr. Evil shit telling the whole plan. You can't have plausible deniability and keep being evil. If you
You let the audience go, oh no, it's not him. He can't be like that. He must be under mind control. That's it.
He was
and,
not.
and a bunch of people said that
But he
except
was-
us, because I was watching.
I was like,
this is
that's him.
He's
That's
that's
him.
him. That's
That's
him.
him.
Yeah.
That's him right there.
And then
Oh,
when my
that-
boyfriend Dark Blood showed up and was breathing all that cold air, talk about I don't trust this motherfucking demon. Human I don't trust. Him I don't. Like it was Yoda demon.
It was good. It was really good. So there will be a season 2. It made me want to go back to The Walking Dead. I can't go back. It's hard to go back. It's been several years.
I don't do zombies, so I'll never know. I just
And
don't.
that's the thing about The Walking Dead. It's not really about the zombies. It's about the people.
But
So-
if there's a zombie, I'm telling you, zombies, clowns, and mimes. I can't
Right, they're the
do
people running from the zombies. That's the thing. That's my thing with all zombie stories. I'm like,
it.
even if you are trying to tell me a story about the interpersonal relationships of the people running from zombies, they're still on the run from zombies. Like it's still a
They're
zombie
still
story.
But
zombies.
see,
It's
no.
still zombies.
But that's the thing with The Walking Dead. They're not running from the zombies. They're running from the people.
Are
I'm
there
sorry.
zombies? Yes or no?
That have made
Are
factions because of the zombies.
Because there is a zombie anywhere. I'm not watching it. I
Right,
don't
it's zombies.
do zombies,
All right.
mimes, or clowns.
Yes.
I don't.
So
do
Okay.
there
Zombies
are
I understand.
but
Clowns I understand. You're gonna have to explain the mimes.
it. First of all, I don't trust nothing with makeup all over its face. That's the thing I don't like. I don't trust anything
what was the
that
guy's
does
name?
that
What
does
was his name?
mime. I don't like mime. I don't.
He was
It
French.
makes-
What was
it's
his name?
creepy.
I don't remember his
It's
name.
creepy. Marcus laughing. It's creepy. No,
Mr. Marcel.
These are my ears. So stop laughing. It's creepy. So they all this, and then you got this, and it's like I know nobody likes a thief, a liar, or a mime. These are things people don't like. People don't like them. Nobody likes that. Jade, that needs to stop. Don't do it. It makes me upset. It's very much a thing with me. Zombies,
okay.
clowns, and mimes. We don't do them over here.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So
Sorry.
no, you cannot watch The Walking Dead. Although I had the very same thing about zombies, and I don't like zombie shows. But after a while, it's just like, you don't see them. That's not
You
the
got
issue.
into the human story.
You're
and what
not
I'm
afraid
telling
of the zombies.
I have an irrational fear that will not allow me to see one zombie without feeling away.
I
The
understand.
only thing that is more upsetting than a zombie and a clown, or a zombie and a mime, or a clown and a mime at the same time.
Okay.
Marcus,
I
do
do
not laugh.
understand because I
These are
have
my
irrational
fears.
fears too. Not of
These are
zombies
irrational-
or mimes. I actually like clowns, but
I don't like nothing with makeup all over its face that don't make sense. Clown makeup, my makeup doesn't make sense. I don't like it.
Okay, all right.
Don't laugh at me anymore.
I hear you.
I thought we
I
were
hear
friends. I thought we were
Try
friends.
not to.
Thank you, Jay.
It's just-
Thank you,
I
Jay,
hear you.
for understanding.
Okay, so sometime this weekend we are going to hook up again on Twitch, maybe the YouTubes, and we're going to talk about High on the Hog, the first episode. We have a couple special guests, Nancy Williams from No More Empty Pots, also my friend from Louisiana that cooks real good, and Judy Kiagiri from Afromaha. We're going to be talking about that first episode, just the first episode of High on the Hog. Maybe we'll talk about what's in the episode, but we're probably just going to talk about food. but that's okay because that's what it's there for. All right, Carla, where can we find you?
All over the interwebs, child. On the Facebook, the Instagram, and the Carla Stillwell. She's out here, resident philosopher, or she's Miss Stillwell. On all these things, I'm talking about myself in the third person because Marcus done upset me. Because he done laughed because I'm afraid of
Oh, no,
zombies, clowns, and
she
mimes.
left.
So just look for me online. I'm there. Being
To
Rick here.
clarify, just mimes.
Marcus.
Zombies and clowns, I fully understand. Terrifying creatures. Mimes
So he's only laughing you for one out of
literally
three.
have.
He's
Oh,
you
no.
should feel a little better because he's only
Can I
judging
tell
you for
you
one of
all?
those things. So,
Listen, the church mime, when that started,
oh, wait.
when the
What?
Christian mime
Now
started.
With the praise
behold
dance.
the Lamb,
Marcus, you
the
don't know about the Christian
precious
mime?
Lamb of
I
God.
just I okay.
Google
This
Christian
this I'm
mime.
familiar with actually.
See,
Okay,
Okay.
but
shit, though.
you, you you're literally afraid of paint and theater.
Yes, I am. Terrified.
Okay, all right.
All right.
Nick, where can we find you? And is there a new episode of the Come Up?
Jehovah Jireh, hey, my provider. Okay. Oh Lord, you reign. Sorry, I got the song took me over. My bad.
Lost.
Okay, so yes, you can find me at nickwhitcomb.com, the come up with nickwhitcomb.com. There is a new episode of the Come Up. It's been a long time coming, but it is coming this Wednesday. Ken Mad Martin, he's the incoming artistic director of Victory Gardens. We get into a great conversation. Join us 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Facebook, and it'll be on YouTube a little after that.
Great. Marcus.
Yep. I'm Marcus Ross. You can find me on Twitter and at Marcus Ross and at Waterbury Games. I'm currently working on a design for Habba's game contest, and I also have a personal
Finally! I had to be mad.
And I'm also doing a personal project. I'm looking for oil and acrylic artists to do little paintings for my modern art project. You can reach out to me on Twitter for that.
Great. Next Monday, we will have the Young League, and they're going to be talking about whatever they are going to be watching and playing this summer. And I saw one of the lists, and it was nothing but anime. And there were a couple that I was concerned about. I was like, you are not old enough to watch. Does your mother know? Anyway, so it should be an interesting conversation with the
You about to
youngins.
get these kids in trouble on national television. That ain't right.
Hey, we got to know what they're watching. We got to know what they're playing. Also, so that's a little break for all the regular league. If they want to, you can also join in with the young league, because in 2 weeks we will be talking about Loki.
Oh, yes. It's time. It's time.
It is
for
time.
Loki.
I cannot wait for Loki.
Eh.
I cannot wait. Have you seen
cannot.
the trailers and then Tom Hiddleston explaining where Loki is? I've seen that. What?
I'm so sorry. There's one more thing that we must discuss before we go. Jade, can you play the news thing one more time?
Oh, yes.
Oh Lord.
Have we all seen the trailer for the new Aretha Franklin movie, Respect?
No.
Okay, first of all, y'all need to go watch it. I don't know how you didn't watch it when it came out last week. I'm interested to hear how Carla, how do you feel about the trailer that you saw?
When my queen Aretha passed, and I was in heavy mourning, I asked Black Jesus to deliver me the biopic that was fitting of my queen. And because, the devil is busy, that foolishness with Arrivo came out first. But that was just because, you can win the battle, but you will not win the war, Satan.
Mm.
So the trailer dropped
It was not of
for,
God.
it was not of God,
It was
but
not
this
of
trailer
God.
dropped. And then I heard Aretha herself say, "It is right with me, it's well with my soul." When I watched the trailer, I heard my queen speak to me and tell me this is what she wanted for her legacy. And I wept.
Yeah, this movie is going to be everything. So if you have not seen the trailer, Marcus and Jade included, watch the trailer. It's one of those movies you're gonna be watching. You're like, they in this movie? He in this movie? They got Marlon acting in this movie? Like you about to have all those feelings when you watch this trailer.
And here's
I
the
am
thing, here's
not
the thing, here's the thing.
surprised.
I have never, I love me some J Hud's voice. I am a fan of her vocally. I'm a fan of her standing flat foot singing to me. I ain't never needed to see her act until now. Because clearly this is going to be one of those I have taken in the spirit and the energy of this character, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
doing it. She is giving me greater Riri, and I'm with
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm here for it. I can't. My
Well,
soul is soaring.
she is who I believe they said Aretha chose her
Yes. So
to play her.
following her Academy Award win in Dreamgirls, she started having regular meetings with Aretha, where Aretha would just tell her about her life, and because she pretty much told her, she was like, "You gonna play me when the time comes." And so she's been sitting literally next to her and hearing about her life and her struggles and everything firsthand since that Academy Award win. Like I guess that was what, like 10 years ago? No, not 10 years.
It is that long ago.
Yeah, it wasn't long ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Now let me and let me say this thing just real quick about the whole situation, about the Revo situation, because people was mad at me and calling me a hater. First of all, the girl didn't look like she didn't look nothing like her, and I couldn't suspend my disbelief. I just couldn't.
No.
Secondly, there is something vocally that happens in American Black church. There is a way in which you learn to use your voice in American Black church that is not it is not a vocal resonance that is anywhere else on this planet, and you can learn it. You can learn it after the fact. It has to be a part of your life. And when
Mhm.
Jennifer Hudson sings them songs that Aretha sang, we can hear that same rich Black American church history in her voice that Aretha just couldn't get because you can't learn that.
And and I watched the Arrivo. I I didn't I did not want it to be great because I don't like Cynthia Erivo as an actress in these roles playing these
No,
women. I just she doesn't it's less to do about her being British and more to do with her not
She's
being
not a strong
cast
actor.
right.
She's not a strong actor.
No.
She is
she's
someone.
an Emma Stone.
She was great for Celie because she stayed quiet for the musical, and when she needs to show emotion in her voice, she sang. And you could see the pain through the lyrics and the music that was behind her bolstering that. But she is not. She's just there. I mean, I watched like some of this. My grandma wanted to watch it, and we were watching a little bit of it together. And I was like, I can't watch this. That girl is not acting. She is just sitting on screen saying words, being like, sitting like this, I was like, who are you
Right.
playing right now?
Right.
Like,
And
And that
Jennifer
script
Hudson,
was terrible.
she when she was in Dreamgirls, I mean that role was perfect for her. It was made
Mhm.
for her. That's why she won that Oscar. She deserved that for that role. Everything else after that, eh. But this one, she's put in the time and the research because she's one of those people that I think she has to embody that character and know it. And for this role, I haven't even seen the trailer and I know she's going to blow it out the water because she has sat at this woman's feet and she understands not only her story, but how important her story is to be told.
And let me tell you something about J Hud. She a little black girl from the south side of Chicago. Her ego is not engaged. She goes to acting classes. I know who her acting coaches are. She has more than one. Her ego, that's what she did with Dreamgirls. Her ego is not so engaged that she will not do the work that she needs to do to honor my queen, Aretha Franklin.
Put the
So
work
that
in.
is the other thing that is exciting about the trailer, because you're looking at it like, ooh, this about to be your "What's Love Got to Do with It" moment. This about to be your Ray moment.
For her and
This
Marlon, because Marlon is about
y'all,
to act up.
Marlon is.
He is about to act up. I feel it. I
I
feel
was
it.
about to break my own device with my other device. Marlon Wayans. I was like, you better act. You better. I might throw a shoe at my TV or something.
Anyway, I feel like we needed to uplift that on this show with resident philosopher Stillwell in the room specifically. So thank you for allowing me to
Oh,
share that.
Absolutely. So we had news at the beginning, Cruella, news at the end. What is it called? It's sad to say
Respect.
we don't.
oh,
Respect.
Oh, I'm sorry. Respect. Respect. And then we talked about Invincible. Thank you all so much. Oh, wait a minute. Did I say myself? Oh, the House of Afros, Capes, and Curls. AfrosCapesCurls.com. Catch us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. More Facebook, more YouTube and Twitch to come because Facebook is acting funny. So I just throw that
mm,
out there. It's acting funny. All
You're
right.
getting
So I see you
Zuckerberg.
all this weekend, maybe if you drop in and talk about High on the Hog, have some soul food ready for the conversation. All right.
absolutely.
All right. Good night.